Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Tales of Phantasia. Last time, we fought the fire spirit Ifrit and acquired the third summon Ifrit. That was redundant. And the last part was really awkward too. Today, though, we're going to be tackling the final dungeon, summon spirit dungeon, before we finally head off to Moria Gallery. But first, before we do that, there's actually something I want to do here. A couple things down here in the guild's hall. For one, oh yeah, that's right, this guy. If you talk to him, he will offer you a password for 1,000 gold. This password is required in order to get into the dungeon. Now, since I'm showing what the password is when we get to said dungeon, excuse me, I just woke up a little bit ago. It will allow you to get into the dungeon, but considering the fact that I'm going to be showing the password when we get there anyways, you could just use this as a guide. Anyway, you want to talk to the guy, you want to talk to the bartender. He will give you the pass to the Moria Gallery. We could have done this earlier, but I figured we just get this done now so I don't forget later, because this is the last one we're doing. But real quick, we've got a little bonus thing going on here. I'm gonna shut up so you can listen to this. Alright, now that that's taken care of, here's some little quick trivia right there. That character was actually playing the main theme of the game. I'm not sure if it was a rendition of The Dream Will Never Die, which is the opening of the game. It's also the opening for the anime. Oh, jeez. I shouldn't feel tired. Again, I just woke up a little bit ago. I would have recorded this last night, but I was distracted by anime, actually. But anyway, now that we did that, before we leave, there's actually something else I want to do here. We can actually continue the Elwin and Nancy side quest if you so choose. I just have to find them, because dang it, I don't know which house they're supposed to be at. This house right here. Wait, no. God damn it. That's a bush baby. Why is that in that house anyway? Hey, Elwin, Nancy. Oh, hey, Kless. It's been a while. So you really left home, huh? Yeah, but it's time for me to start making my own way into the world. And I've got Nancy now, that's all that matters. We were going to Midgard, but we're going to stay here in Alvanista for a while because of the war. Don't tell my father where we are, okay? Now, in order to get to the next dungeon, one of the boats will take you to Belladum. That's the ship you want to take. Keep one thing in mind, though. This is a no return. This is only a one-way trip. You're going to be forced to take the long way back after the fact. So just bring whatever you feel like you're going to need. Granted, this dungeon isn't really hard. In fact, this is a very, very easy dungeon. I'm cutting out all the battles because I'm not gonna lie, dudes and dudettes. All the encounters in this section of the dungeon are enemies from like the beginning of the game. Like they're your bugbears, your boggles. It's crazy. Anyway, this is where we want to put our password in before we actually enter the real dungeon. Now, the real dungeon is interesting in the sense that there are no random enemy encounters, like, period. There is one new enemy we can battle in the dungeon besides the boss itself, but there's a bit of a quirk to these enemies, as I'll explain later on. Okay, now I don't know why I decided to do this, because I just sort of dragged this part on a little bit by doing this the wrong way. I'm lost. Will you help me find my friends? Oh, thank you. Alright, now with the gimmick to this dungeon. We've got a little escort mission with this little gnome. We have to get this gnome all the way to the end to where his friends are. Otherwise, we can't progress, because his friends are going to be blocking the road if we were to traverse through this dungeon without this little gnome guy. Here's the problem though, if you get too far from him, he will stop moving completely. So you can easily leave him behind. And if he's too far behind you when you enter a new room, he will not follow you in and you have to go back for him. That is the most annoying part. Now, with the gnomes themselves, well, claydolls as they're being called, we're going to be running away from all of them. We do fight. I do show off one fight with them later on. And there goes the frames dropping again. I guess we better go into that finally. I've been using Fraps to record this. And Fraps has a tendency to act up in funny ways. Or at least with the frame rate at a lot of times. I don't know what causes it, but sometimes when I'm recording, it hasn't happened for a little bit, so I'm thankful for that. But sometimes, like in the past, the frame rate would just crap out on me for like no reason at all, and I would have to restart the recording. That's the main reason why I save on 2 files. I save the third file just in case if something goes wrong and I have to restart the recording again. I don't like doing this, mind you. It's really obnoxious. But what are you gonna do? And we found his lost friends. Alright, now we can actually progress. There's something else you ought to know. There really isn't anything of value in this dungeon. There's like no chests to open, really. Except maybe a spy lens I might have saw earlier. I don't really remember. If there are items, I completely just walk past them without realizing it. If there were chests, there was probably in that door I ignored. Anyways, gonna head down here, and this is pretty much the end of the dungeon right here. Now it's time to show off the fight with the claydolls. Isn't that a Pokemon? Okay, yeah, it's a Pokemon. Ground Psychic. It's not a bad Pokemon. Anyway, with the claydolls, they resist a lot of things, and I mean a lot. You can't do any damage to them. As you saw earlier, fire magic heals them. Your best bet is to have Arch use Tractor Beam on them. So, that's pretty cool, I guess. Tractor Beam instantly kills them. But, there is one major reason why you should just run away from these battles. They give you 1 experience point and 4 gold. You are literally wasting your time fighting these guys. They offer nothing. Nothing! So, essentially, this dungeon has the least amount of experience, because the only experience you would be getting is the boss fight itself, because the enemies in the beginning of the dungeon were enemies from, like, the beginning of the game. Now, in order to finish the dungeon, you have to activate that switch and quickly get through this door before the alarm, like, finishes. Otherwise, they're just going to keep blocking the door, and if you try to kill them, they'll just keep spawning. Who invades my home? Now we have the boss fight Gnome. Okay, this boss is annoying. In the case of Undini, where she was difficult because she was able to deal a lot of damage, as well as Garlot, Demetel, and Ymir because of the amount of damage they could do, Gnome doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. In fact, the problem with this boss fight is that you're not going to be able to do a lot of damage to him because he's constantly using his damn rocket move. When he's doing his rocket move, which is basically what you're going to be doing whenever you summon him, you can't do anything. If your character is trying to use, if Arch tries to use any spells, or if Clark tries to use any summons, when this is happening, it will just stop. And you waste the TP, and yeah, nothing happens. That is the major problem with this boss fight. In order to even competently take this guy out, when he spawns onto the ground like that, start ranking up the combos, because if you can get him in stun lock, you should be okay. This fight can either take you as quickly, like as I did, it's like 3 minutes maybe. Yeah, 2 to 3 minutes it took me. It can take you that long, or it can take you at least 10. It's all RNG whether or not you're going to have a good time with this boss fight. Again, it doesn't do a lot of damage, it's not very threatening, it's just incredibly annoying. It's like Moldorm in that regard. And it doesn't have a lot of health either, so it's just a matter of quickly getting the stun lock on him and just dealing as much damage as you can before he gets to use that stupid rocket move. And it's over. Woo! Thankfully, we get a decent amount of gold. We've been ranking up the gold for a bit. I believe that's another porno magazine. By your laws, you now owe me a contract, right? Yes. You will forge a contract through your ruby ring. Spirits of magic, I beseech you, grant me the power of earth. My name is Clark. And we've acquired Gnome. It's a very weird looking summon spirit, I gotta say. Granted, he doesn't look much better in the next game he appears in. In fact, he acts weirder too. Now we've got a new spell for Arch, Stonewall. Not a bad spell. The only problem is it like Firewall and Thunderblade, it can only attack one enemy. It does a fair amount of damage. It's better than Grave. But anyway, let's save, because we're pretty much finished here. We've got all the 4 summon spirits. So we're gonna end it off here. Next time on Tales of Phantasia, we're finally gonna be heading towards Moria Gallery to see if we can find the ring to make a contract with Luna. Until then, I got a juice.